Western television has always invited viewers to ride into wide-open landscapes where morality and violence play out against an untamed frontier. The best Western shows thrive on big stakes and bigger archetypes of loners, lawmen, and even legends. But when a Western fails to deliver the goods, it leaves fans stranded in the dust with broken promises. Over the past 2 decades, several traditional and revisionist Western series captured our attention, only to squander it. Some were cancelled before they could deliver, while others lost their voice to messy plotting, disappointing character choices, or corporate meddling. These shows remind us that even in the golden age of TV, the frontier remains as unforgiving as ever. Deadwood, the movie. 2004 to 2006, 3 seasons plus 2019 movie. Timothy Olyphant and Ian McShane in Deadwood. It may be revered now, but Deadwood's cancellation in 2006 was a gut punch. HBO axed the show after 3 seasons, leaving arcs unresolved for over a decade. While the 2019 movie attempted closure, even positive reviews carried caveats. Many criticized it for playing too safe and sanding down the show's trademark edge. Complaints were directed toward beloved characters like Ol Swearingen, who was softened too much, and conflicts that were tied up with too much neatness expected from the genre. After waiting 13 years for a proper Deadwood ending, fans expected a raw coda to match the series' tone. Instead, they got a mournful epilogue that felt more like compromise than catharsis. The Mandalorian. 2019 to 2023, 3 seasons. Din Djarin, Pedro Pascal, and Grogu face one another as they prepare to say goodbye. The Mandalorian started as a space western done right, with so much promise. Seasons 1 and 2 won near universal acclaim, with 93% audience scores on The Mandalorian's Rotten Tomatoes. But Season 3 told another story. Critics held steady at 84%, while the audience plummeted to 51%, citing muddled focus and franchise bloat. The disappointment ultimately came from some head-scratching storytelling choices. Din Djarin, once the heart of the show, was sidelined in favor of setting up Star Wars spin-off shows like Ahsoka, and instead of tight arcs about survival and morality, fans were dragged through uneven pacing that simply felt like corporate obligations. Strange Empire. 2014 to 2015, 1 season. A group shot of Michelle Kreber, Kara G, and Maitreya Skarwana in an old Western room. It looks like the women are being auctioned off to men. Show Strange Empire. CBC's Strange Empire promised a darker, female-led Western with indigenous representation, a rarity in the genre. Its first season was praised for refusing to shy away from controversial issues of the time. But then the network yanked the plug, leaving fans wondering why the show was even produced in the first place. Fans also voiced frustration that rich storylines, like Kat Loving's quest for justice, were abandoned without resolution. Promoted as a bold new direction, Strange Empire was betrayed by a network unwilling to nurture it. Considering how it doesn't even have a Rotten Tomatoes page, maybe CBC failed to market the show enough in the first place. Into the Badlands. 2015 to 2019, 3 seasons. Daniel Wu as Sonny in Into the Badlands. AMC's Into the Badlands was an interesting martial arts western, nothing remotely traditional, but its aesthetic carved out a unique niche. From the start, critics flagged wasted potential. The Badlands' Rotten Tomatoes consensus for Season 1 noted off-kilter potential left largely unfulfilled. But audiences were much higher on it, awarding an 87% score compared to critics' 64%. The abrupt cancellation of Into the Badlands in 2019 and the finale only deepened the wound. While action sequences delivered, the episode teased future arcs that would never come. Characters like MK were left in limbo, and fans debated whether Sonny's journey was cut short before true resolution. It's a shame it ended mid-stride. The Sun. 2017 to 2019, 2 seasons. Pierce Brosnan as Eli McCullough lounging on an old western porch with a letter in hand, and some scotch, in The Sun. With Pierce Brosnan headlining, The Sun was pitched as AMC's next prestige western saga. Instead, Season 1 limped to a 52% Rotten Tomatoes score, criticized for sluggish pacing and underdeveloped secondary characters. What should have been a sweeping generational epic felt instead like an imitation of greater shows. The real disappointment derived from it being yet another TV western that should have been longer. Sure, The Sun received its proper ending, but the show only lasted 2 seasons and fans craved more. Take the 88% audience score that critics largely ignored as proof. Many fans saw The Sun as a rare, underappreciated western gem that ultimately deserved better. Godless. 2017, 1 season. Upward shot of Michelle Dockery as Alice Fletcher standing with a rifle in hand in Godless. Netflix marketed Godless as a groundbreaking, woman-driven western. A town of widows running their own lives sounded like genre reinvention, yet critics quickly noticed the bait and switch. Vox expressed confusion with the trailer, claiming it wasn't exactly as advertised, focusing instead on the rivalry between Jeff Daniels and Jack O'Connell. Even in a woman-only town, men dominated the dialogue. What could have been a spiritual sequel to Yellowstone, the betrayal was amplified by its intended miniseries format. With just one season, there was no second chance to balance those missteps. Fans who came for a new perspective instead got another male-centric duel, leaving Godless as a story that betrayed its very premise. Hell on Wheels. 2011 to 2016, 5 seasons. Anson Mount Cullen. Hell on Wheels. Hell on Wheels rolled onto AMC with enormous expectations, hyped as, once again, the next prestige western. There's a weird pattern there. The pilot suggested it could be just that, but cracks appeared quickly. Ratings fell 35% in week 2, and critics complained of quality acting, but poor writing. Despite achieving 5 seasons, the show's narrative never achieved the depth it promised.